We had a next one that actually came in from somebody who had a new listener, had decided to do the 7 days of sex challenge. And this is coming from a husband. He said, during the challenge, things were great. We communicated like never before. My wife began to open up and let me see her in a way that she has not ever before. It's been 2 weeks since we completed the challenge and things are back to normal, which for them wasn't a lot of intimacy. He goes on to say, what she doesn't understand from my point of view is that it hurts me when she's not open with me. We have a young child that sleeps with us every night, and my wife works late every night. I try to get every task done around the house to help her and give us time together. With our child in bed every night, it makes it difficult to initiate anything, including cuddling, because she is in the middle of us all night. I got some thoughts on that. I'll come back to that. This doesn't bother my wife, but because I want to be intimate with her, want her to open up with me, it makes it difficult. Also, she'll deny me because of this or because of how late she gets home or various other reasons. Am I being too hard on her? Am I being paranoid? Please help. First of all,
I want to say, first of all, we have the number one Amazon bestseller called The 7 Days of Sex Challenge. So if you haven't done it, go pick it up.
Well, and that was the book that was the challenge that he referenced there. A couple things. One is your children do not belong in your bed after a certain age. I mean, we've had kids sleep with us. You know, your kid gets sick and it's just easier. You've got a newborn, and I will tell you, I nursed both my babies. Sometimes they just end up in the bed because you're exhausted, and carrying them back to their room would probably be more detrimental to everybody. But after a certain age, our bedroom door has a lock. And the lock is so that, like, the only people that are allowed in get permission to be there, or they're the two of us and they're already in there.
Right.
The marriage relationship, honestly, has to be the primary relationship. And what I'm hearing in this message is that I'm glad, Brewman 79, that you agree completely. It's always nice to get a kudos for that.
Well, and we see it so often.
It's becoming more commonplace.
Yeah, kids become this vice in our bedrooms, and they become a wedge. Mm-hmm. And Elisa said it. When our kids were younger, for sure they would fall asleep there. And you know what? I would feel that way at times. Most likely, yes. I was like, why do they have to be here? Why can't they just go sleep in their own room? I'm just done seeing them in here. I love them, and yet they need to get out.
Here's what happens, and this is something that we see society at large, is that there is more of a priority put on the children than on the marriage relationship. And when there's more of a priority put on the children, then there's a disconnect that starts to happen between the two of you. So, and here's the thing. It's not a surprise that this wife doesn't have a problem with it. Because usually if somebody's allowing the kid into the bedroom, they're going to think it's okay. The situation with that, and this has to obviously be handled with tact, is that if the two of you aren't strong in your relationship, it will impact that child more than having to sleep in their own bedroom will. And what I mean by that is that if this gap gets really, really big...
Like you can't see us?
Like there's going to be a divorce in your future, right? Which isn't good for the two of you, and it definitely isn't good for your child. So we're huge advocates. I won't even I'm including Tony in this one, that spouse first, kids second, then everything else. Now, as far as, this couple specifically, I would say they've got some other issues going on because she's avoiding him at pretty much every turn. And yet, when they did the 7 Days of Sex Challenge, she was open to that, and she was participating. So this couple would be a great candidate for coaching. Like, let's peel back those layers. Let's take a look and see what's going on. What is she upset about? What is holding her back from, taking off those masks and being completely vulnerable with her husband? Is she upset with the way she looks? Is she upset at him for something that he may not even be aware that he's done? Is she upset with him for something that he does know he's done? I don't know. I don't have all the answers to this question, but it's one of those things where if there is ever a point in time in your marriage when your spouse is holding back from you, when you sense a disconnect, that's when the two of you need to get help immediately. I know I saw a couple of the handles coming on. I know some of them said fire wife and things like that. Like, you guys get the emergency warning. Like, there's an alarm going off when one of you is sensing a disconnect. And it will quickly turn from just a little smoke detector into a 3-alarm fire. So think of like, do I just need to, get the little household fire extinguisher to put this out? Like, do we just need to have a conversation, or do we need to get somebody involved? And the piece of advice I want to give everybody watching this is, if you sense anything is going on in your marriage, get help immediately. If you haven't been able to fix it yourself, bring in an expert, bring in a coach.
Somebody.
And, honestly, if you don't know this already, I coach couples all over the world in the one family. It is something, go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com, click on the coaching tab. That'll get you information about our coaching program. And this isn't a plug for that. This is a plug for you to get help.
Yeah.
Right? Because ultimately we want marriages around the world to be healthy. Because I think that everybody that jumps onto the scope is doing so for a reason, because you also have a desire to see healthy relationships.